Okay. In this video, we are going to talk about what is constructor. A constructor, which name is identical to the class in which doesn't have return type, is called constructors. There are 6 types of constructors. First one is empty constructor. Second one is default constructor. Third one is parameterized constructor. Fourth, default argument constructor. Fifth, copy constructor, and sixth, remove constructors. Assume that we have a pen class. So empty constructor is returned like this, with zero parameter and no code in it. Default argument constructor has zero parameter and simple. This constructor return like this. Parameters constructor has only no parameters and some code, but if only one parameter, then it is not of the same class type. For example, INTP some code. Default argument constructor has no more parameters and some code. For example, when INTP equal to 0 and some code. Copy constructor has parameter of type const, when, ampersand, and some code like this. New constructor has parameter of type pen, ampersand, and some code. Example, pen, ampersand, other, and some code index. How to implement? Not to. First of all, we create a class named as pen. We output method named as identical to the class. Then less than default constructor. So less than then we create a parameterized constructor. On this, we have give a parameter one or more. So that less than then constructor less than then just all to all to produce the uh, by giving this method with parameters. This is an ambiguity. If we call a parameterized constructor, then it gives error. If we write there one parameter intk and second one is default argument, assign a default argument value, default value. So for this, we have assigned one more variable to avoid ambiguity in this example. Sorry, Q. Not less than default argument instructor. Less than and then one one launch pen 10% for copy constructor. So less than copy constructor less than this one and then pen 1% 10% for new constructor. Which constructor get invoked is depend on how we create an object. The style of the creation of the object, which constructor get invoked. If we write pen p1, p1 was an object of class pen type. In this default constructor gets invoked. Let's check it. These are warnings. Default constructor. Now next we check pen p2 parameterized constructor gets called parameterized constructor get called default constructor then parameterized constructor get called. Now we'll check pen 10 comma 20 and third one is default value. Default attribute constructor, then some then p3, then p4, p2. Copy constructor get copy constructor get for comment view, then e5 move e4 object, move constructor gets invoked. Let's check it. First default constructor, then parameterize constructor, then default argument constructor, copy constructor, move constructor get called. So we have all the constructor, how it initiated. So if we don't write any of these constructors, what violation error, even default constructor. Then we do error on parameterized constructor only for constructor. Why it don't give an line we also? Why it don't give error on these two constructors? Because the compiler will aim to use empty constructor copy constructor copy constructor and move constructor. If the programmer gives one constructor, compiler will check if it is copy constructor or move constructor. अगर दोनों में से कौन सा भी कंस्ट्रक्टर नहीं हुआ तो वो कॉपी कंस्ट्रक्टर और मूव कंस्ट्रक्टर लिख देगा.